I had the opportunity to sit one-on-one with LeVette Fuller, and I just want to take the time to thank you for your hard work and your commitment, your dedication, and you stayed to your word to appear on the show. And I did get some good positive feedback from your campaign team saying that you had a great time, you had fun, and you enjoyed being on my show. And for that, I want to thank you for your commitment, staying dedicated and true to your word. Thank you again, LeVette Fuller. We discussed several topics. We discussed about public safety, infrastructure, economic growth, and when asked what does it take to be a good mayor, she stated, "I think a good mayor is transparent, accessible, stays on the level of the people, is forward-thinking, and has vision for the community. A good mayor isn't afraid to face hard truths and makes good decisions. They're not afraid of doing the hard work and leading a good team. I also think a good mayor knows what others don't know and isn't afraid of saying, 'I don't know. I'm going to get the answer and work with the people that do know and also say I was wrong. I didn't get that one right. When I got new information, I changed my mind about it. Something so that you're honest and you're able to keep steady day hand to say I was wrong, but I'm going to keep going.'" We also discussed about police corruption, and LeVette Fuller mentioned that she was against behavior of the police officers who assaulted and wrongfully beat Tommy McLaughlin. That was a few years ago. There was an incident where they wrongfully beat Tommy McLaughlin and left him for dead, and it was wrong. She spoke out against it, and a lot of people didn't like what she had to say, but she spoke from the heart. She stated she was speaking from passion and anger, and wanted to let it be known that defund and reform the police are two different meanings. The police are supposed to maintain order and serve and protect. If your job is to keep people safe, then you have to be above approach and not be above accountability. You have to be accountable for your actions. And as a police officer, you have to be above approach, but not above accountability. Speak up when you know right from wrong. Take responsibility, own up to your mistakes. And speaking of mistakes, I asked her a question. I said, "Have you ever done anything? Have you made a mistake?" And she said that she's not perfect. And of course, as human beings, we're not perfect. What perfect human being out there do you know other than Jesus Christ himself? We're not perfect. We make mistakes. And she mentioned that the incident that she got involved with, she did own up to her mistake, and she paid her dues, she did her time, and as just like any other citizen of Shreveport would do. Do you not want a good citizen, a good leader? Isn't that not what it takes to be a good leader? Own up to your mistakes and do what is right. She owned up to her mistakes, and for that, I thank her for her hard work, her dedication, and being honest. Honesty is the best. You want a leader who's willing to own up to their mistakes. Nobody's perfect, not one human being. And if you find that one person out there who never made a mistake in their life, I would love to have them on my show. We discussed infrastructure. We need to do better by inspecting. We need to do a better job of it. I think that sometimes we contract several small jobs to a firm at once so that they get it done in a matter of priority, which ends up taking a longer time. We have too much land area for too few people to pay for to keep trying to capture more population and more tax base by annexation areas that are already in the city. And all dollars are spreading thinner and thinner. The more our infrastructure wears out, the fewer dollars pay those bills. We need to focus on what we already have instead of making things bigger. You know, then that's a bad habit here in Shreveport. We love to expand, make things bigger instead of focusing on what we already have. let's focus on what we already have first. Then later on, focus on the bigger things and expand. But before we expand, let's focus on the smaller issues at hand first. We may actually be able to get out of this hole. She explained about the capital allot dollars, how they're spent here in Shreveport, and that the duties of what the mayor should do. A mayor needs to work with the state. Ask, can we please put money aside to take care of these streets? Example, 4th Street, Hearn Avenue, Murphy Street. See that these funds come to Shreveport instead of letting those funds go to other parts of the state. We have to tell the state allegation where we want those funds to go in order to work together where we can see those funds go to priority. It's been a while since we had a state allegation. We're not exactly sure, and neither she does not know. And again, that means not her fault. But I'm pretty sure once a state allegation is done and completed, I'm going to look into that for everyone, and I'm going to get the details. And once I get the details on those fundings and as far as how they're spent, I'm going to get back with everyone and keep you updated. We also discussed about I-49, I-20, I-220. You notice around the area we are out of lights. We have a light shortage, and that's because of electrical issues, maintenance dollars, time, manpower, allocate funds, and resources. We need to communicate with the state to make sure these get addressed. In order to get the lights addressed, we have to communicate with the state. In order to get the trash removed, the debris on the road, on the highways, you have to communicate with the state, because you can contact DOTD to remove the tire threads along the interstate. So any tire threads you see that you want to get removed, just contact DOTD and they'll be out. They will go out there and get those tire threads removed. So work with the state, and the state also has to work with the city, because the city are responsible for those lights on the interstate as well. It's not the city's it's not the DOTD's responsibility for the lights. It's the city. So you have to contact the city, and we have to do a better job to get on the city to make sure they replace those lights on those interstates so that we won't be driving in darkness. And also get with the council so that they get the job done, because they don't know unless you speak up. When you don't say nothing, nothing happens. When you stay quiet, nothing happens. City council members, city leaders cannot read minds. If you don't tell them what's wrong, how can we move forward? We also talked about the water towers. Shreveport has 7 water towers. 5 out of 7 need repairs. LeVette Fuller explained that we need to do better and take better care of the water towers and not neglect them. We have to maintain them better. It was the water department director who had the idea to go to the water department of health, and he said, take your drones up and inspect them. So they took the drones up and inspected them, and upon the inspection they found several holes in the tanks. And because of those holes, and yes, this didn't happen overnight, it's because of several years of neglect. So once they looked at the damages to the towers, they repaired them, and a lot of people wonder why it took so long. We endured it. We endured not without being in water for nearly 2 weeks, and I'm going to explain that. The reason why we have these boil advisories and be out of water and have busted pipes, and they take so long, is because during the freeze, LeVette Fuller explains, there was no water in the tanks. They were completely empty. See, last year the tanks emptied out because the water mains that broke, there were no way to get to the pipes that busted out. In order to get the water pressure back, you have to make sure all the tanks are full. And that's why it took so long to restore the water. And as a way to prevent this from happening, should we ever have another severe snowstorm like we did, we can get the detachable plows in front of city trucks that can remove snow off the streets, as well as proper training. Excuse me. We also need to position our equipment and have chains on the tires on public works trucks, and have spar workers stationed and have carts ready at each district. Supply them with heat, water, and already stationed before the storm happened. Pay them overtime. This way they can get to the water towers so they can start making the repairs we need early, so we won't get caught up in that situation like that again. We also discussed street lights. In case you wondered why they're putting up several street lights instead of working on the roads, well, it's a different set of bucket of money. Different each grant we have different grants. We have different sets of money, and in this case, it's a different set of bucket of money. Different purpose, different funding, different purpose. So, though the LED lights you see that they're putting around the city are more efficient, the appliances like the poles are expensive, so grants are given to cover the cost. Again, different purpose, different funding, different purpose. And here's something that I never knew. Did you know that it is expensive to run the city? It costs $500 million plus to run the city. That is without looking at all the debt we have had over annual things like the consent decree. Over several years, it will cost the city over several $billion. We discussed crime, removing blight by cleaning up the neighborhoods, help mental health to help people that live there, and helps reduce crime. Police intelligence needs to be involved. Racial profiling, pay leadership, police accountability, transparency, respect, good training, mental health, good equipment, good pay, and make sure they are working with the community and be on the same page. Have a good report with the community. You want to have officers on patrol with a good report, not the ones that have a bad reputation. We have to be able to trust the police, and the police has to be able to work with us. And the only way for crime to reduce, because the mayor, no matter who is mayor, they cannot, and I repeat, cannot promise you they can rid of crime. No one can do that. Nobody can get rid of crime completely. Now, we can help lower crime, and by doing that, it's by working together. We have to work with the police, and the police have to work with us. Let's work together. Together we can move forward. And this is the only way to help reduce the possibilities of higher crime rates. If we work together, we can move forward, and that's the only way to lower crime. We also talked about economic growth. LeVette Fuller would like to have more things for young people. We have to ask, what do they want? So in order to have the young things for young people, we have to ask what they want. We make it harder to put things together for the young folks. Go-kart competition style karting. Learn about racing, half racing, and then on a time off when there's no competition, everyone can participate. That is something I would like to see here. Is competition kart racing at any age where regional kart racing comes here. And I think that's a great idea. We also discussed about Chase's Avenue restoration. I thought I was the only one who had the vision. So thank you, LeVette Fuller. We're on the same page. So did you know Texas Avenue can be like Barksdale Boulevard? You can have restaurants, cafes, music venues, shops, art galleries, ride your bike, on-street parking, dedicated streetcar that goes from Cumming to Lakeshore. I think it would be a great amenity for locals and tourists. This is the reason why I got involved into politics, is because of historic preservation. We need to keep these ties into the area. Again, we discuss about public safety, infrastructure, and economic growth. LeVette knows investing in local businesses and improving infrastructure will build a more robust and diversified economy and attract larger employers. She has advocated for removing barriers to business creation, such as simplifying permits, easing tax burdens, and reducing red tape, which will give businesses room to breathe while also ensuring safe, clean work environments for Shreveport workers. Together, these steps will help Shreveport say we're open for business. Learn more about LeVette and the issues at LeVetteFuller.com. Again, that is LeVetteFuller.com, LEVETTE Fuller.com, LeVetteFuller.com. Early voting is officially begun. It started October 25th, 22 and ends November 1st. You can vote early at the Register of Voters office downtown, 525 Marshall Street, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71107, or at the Hamilton Branch Street Memorial Library, 2111 Burt Coons Industrial Loop, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71118, from 8:30 to 6:30. From 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., excluding Sunday, October 30th. Again, if you believe in LeVette Fuller's vision, you may vote for her. She is ballot box number 66. Again, that is ballot number 66. Again, I just want to thank you, LeVette Fuller. I know you're watching. I say thank you so much for appearing on my show. And again, I got some awesome feedback from your campaign team. They said you had a great time being on Tro, and that you had a great experience. And I do look forward, and we'll be reaching back out to you on some updates on the city of Shreveport. And I'm really rooting for you. Let's go, LeVette Fuller, number 66. At this time, I'm going to present to you community announcements. Christmas in the Sky, produced every other year by the Shreveport Regional Arts Council at Louisiana Downs Casino and Racetrack on the second Saturday in December 10th. If interested, you may purchase tickets at 2022sky.com/tickets. Again, that is 2022sky.com/tickets, and that's Christmas in the Sky. Looking for a DJ? Well, I have one to recommend, and this DJ is DJ Pitt. Hit up DJ Pitt at 318-519-1902. Southern Soul, R&B music you want to hear. Facebook at DJ Pitt. That's DJ Pitt, P-I-T-T. You can book today by dialing 318-519-1902. Again, that's 318-519-1902. Alright. At this time, I'm going to present ancient African history. Hanged by the British at exactly 8 a.m. on June 28, 1899, Ola Barsier, chief of the Benin Kingdom and warrior, fought a guerrilla war for 2 years. To the British, he was treacherous and barbaric, but to many, Edo, he was a symbol of resistance against invaders. The photograph you see across the screen was taken just before his execution. Again, that is Ola Barsier, O-L-O-G-B-O-S-E-R-E, Ola Barsier, chief of the Benin Kingdom. And that concludes this week's African ancient history.